Welcome, students. This is your spiral review for 12-10-14. This is the review sheet that we gave you on Monday, 12-8. Make sure you work through the 9 problems on here with us and bring it to class ready to take your checkpoint on Wednesday. Make sure you remember the goal that you set and that we're trying to get to the blue board in class, and you get there by increasing by 15+%. Okay, so you got to get at least 2 more questions right than you did on your last test. Alright, first it says draw a sketch of the parent function and write the equation of it. So the key to this whole thing is right here, parent function. In class so far we've studied only one parent function right now, and that has the equation of y equals x. And if you go to your graphing calculator and you go to the y equals button on your calculator and you type in y equals x and hit graph, then the picture that you will get is that perfect line that goes through the origin like that. Okay? It's up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and so forth. So anytime right now you see the words parent function or even linear parent function, then it's either this equation, y equals x, or this line right here. Okay? Alright, number 2, it says solve 5x minus 9y equals 7 for y. And put a box around the slope and then circle the y-intercept. So again, this idea of solving for y is not going to go away. This is the same as isolating y. We're trying to get y by itself. So 5x minus 9y equals 7. Okay. So we put a box around here. We're trying to get y by itself. We draw our line down. The steps that we've been doing all throughout the year, we try. The box says to leave me alone, so we're leaving the negative, the 9, and the y alone. We're going to subtract 5x from both sides. Notice how I did not line it up underneath the 7 because those are not like terms and can't be combined. Those cancel out. I bring down my negative 9y, bring down my 7, minus 5x. Next step, when it's beside it, I divide it. So I divide everything by negative 9. The 9's cancel. Y equals. If I go to my calculator, 7 divided by negative 9, math 1 enter, is negative 7/9. And if I do negative 5 divided by negative 9, math 1 enter, this is plus 5/9. And that has an x on it. Now, the only thing left to get it into y equals mx plus b form is to swap. This part goes to the front. So positive 5/9 x goes to the front. Negative 7/9 goes to the back. Alright, and I'm supposed to box my slope. My slope is always up against the mx. Then I'm supposed to circle my y-intercept. My y-intercept is always the part out there by itself. Okay, so again I have y equals 5/9 x minus 7/9. This is mx plus b. This is the m. This is the b. Write the equation of a line parallel and one perpendicular to y equals half x minus 10. Okay? So parallel, we learned the other day, means same slope. So here is the slope. So I just need to write an equation that has the same 1/2 in front of the x. So y equals 1/2 x. I just need to make sure this part's different so that it's not the same line, so I can do plus 8 or plus anything I want to do. So this one is parallel because these two have the same slope. Perpendicular meant they were negative reciprocals. And then we also said that could also be called flipping opposites. Okay? So what that meant in class we talked about is if you have 2/3, then you flip that, the 3 goes to the top, the 2 goes to the bottom. Since this is positive, then this has to be negative. So ours is 1/2, so it's positive 1/2, so we know the next one has got to be negative. The 2 goes to the top, the 1 goes to the bottom. Negative 2 divided by 1 is just negative 2. So y equals negative 2x, and then I can put anything I want on the bottom of this because they are perpendicular to each other. So I could just put plus 8 again. Okay. So all I'm doing is comparing this number to that number. Those are flipping opposites. Those are negative reciprocals. 1 goes to the bottom, 2 goes to the top. This one was positive, so this one has to be negative. How would you write d equals 58r in function notation? And what we've learned so far this year is that function notation is f of x equals, here's just an example, 3x plus 2. So this is what function notation looks like. It's where you took y equals 3x plus 2, and function notation just uses one letter, the x. This f actually stands for the word function, so it's not a variable. So it says the function of x equals 3x plus 2. So when we change this one out, d equals 58r, we have to write this in terms of just r. So the d will go away, and it will just become a function of r equals 58r. Notice how this and this are the same. Okay? R and R have to be the same. They did a checkpoint earlier this year, and they tricked us by doing this. F of d equals 58r. But the difference is you got to look right here. These have to be the same. And in this case, they're not the same. So this is not the correct way to write it. It has to be done this way. It says the person's shoe size is directly proportional or varies directly with their height. Anytime we have proportion, we know we set up like this. So we have 4 parts. We have a top and bottom on each side. It says shoe size to height. So shoe size over height. So it says Mr. A is 72 inches. So that's his height. His shoe size is 11.5. His brother wears a size 8 shoe. How tall is he? So we put an X there. And we butterfly. X times 11.5 is 11.5x. 72 times 8. I don't know that in my head, so I'll grab my calculator. 72 times 8 is 576. When it's beside it, I divide it. So divide both sides by 11.5. And I get x equals 50.09. And that would be inches tall. So anytime you see the words directly proportional or varies directly, you know you can set up a proportion and do the butterfly. Chris Paul scores 20 points per game. So that's an important piece of information, 20 points per game. And even more important, this word right here is important. He has already scored 400 points, so we're already starting with 40 points this year. What do the slope and y-intercept mean? Okay, so let's go ahead and write our equation. It's y equals, our slope is always the one with the per, so 20 points per game, plus he already started with 400. So our slope is his points per game. It's the number that's changing. His y-intercept is always your starting point, or it's your initial value. It's what you're starting the problem with. He's starting, so it's starting amount. Okay, so if we were graphing this on a graph, he's already starting with 400. So if we go by hundreds, that's 100, 200, 300, 400. He's already right here to start the problem. And then he's going up at 20 points per game. So it's going to go like this. So our y-intercept is here. It's how many points that he started out with when we started this problem. And then his slope is how much it's going up and over, up and over. It's going up 20 over 1. Write an equation that is twice as steep and shifted 5 units down. Shift, another word for shift is translate. So it's translated 5 units down. It's twice as steep. So steep has to do with slope. Okay, so let's look at our equation. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. This is our slope. And so we need something that's twice that. So all that means is you're going to take this and multiply it by 2. Negative times 2 is negative 4x. So that is twice as steep. All we did was take our original slope and multiply it by 2 because this is twice. Then we're going to shift it down or translate it down 5 units. Our y-intercept is what deals with our shifts, slides, or translates. So this one has already been shifted up 3, but now we're going to translate 5 down. So down is going to be subtract 5. So we do positive 3 minus 5 is minus 2. So this is steeper. This has been shifted down. Okay? So steeper has to do with the slope. Translating and shifting has to do with the y-intercept. And you could see problems where you do both. You could see problems where you just do a shift or you just do a steeper. Okay. Is 2, 3 a solution for 2x minus 3y is greater than 11? So this is an x and a y. So basically we're just going to go back middle school style and plug in and see if it's a true statement. So 2x, not plus, minus 3y is greater than 11. So the x is coming out, 2 is going in its place, the y is coming out, and 3 is going in its place. So 2 times 2 minus 3 times 3 is greater than 11. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 3 times 3 is 9, it's greater than 11. 4 minus 9 is negative 5. Negative 5 is greater than 11. No. So the answer is no. Alright, last question. Number 9 says create a graph and a table that are a function. So to be a function, we studied 2 things. On a graph, we learned the vertical line test. And in the vertical line test, your graph, when you draw any line down this way, it can only hit one time. Okay? So basically, this would pass the vertical line test because it only hits once, 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 once. Okay? An example that would fail the vertical line test would be something like this, where it hits 3 times like that. Okay? For a table, we have x's and y's, and we learned that our x's can't repeat with different y's. So 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 3, 14, negative 11. As long as these are all different numbers matched up, then we're good. We don't care about the y's. X's can't repeat with different y's. Okay. Remember to come ready and do well on your checkpoint. We're going to do some different competitions, but one of them is the pizza party, and to get invited to that, you have to do 15% better than you did last time.